Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Ron.
And today we are back to talk about SnowFall. This is season 6, episode 8, titled Ballad of the Bear. Now, before we get started talking about this episode, make sure you click that subscribe button, the notification bell, and the like button. All of those actions help support our channel. So we appreciate those who have already done it. And for those of you who haven't, you need to hop on that right now. Now we can get into this episode. This was a really good one. We talked a little bit offline about it, and I think we were all certain that this was going to be it for Oso.
Yes.
Especially, given the episode title, Ballad of the Bear. Oso means bear in Spanish. So it didn't seem like it was going to be a good thing for him this week. This episode was also directed by Amen Joseph, aka the late great Uncle Jerome. So it was good that he still had a role in the series, after his character had been killed off. So he did a great job with this one. It was a really good episode. And I think we all mentioned too that we were all on edge because it was very intense and it was nerve-wracking. You didn't know who was going to get killed or not. So
my nerves were rattled. I in fact rattled to the point of almost frustration. I'm like, okay, who's going to get killed? Is anybody going to get killed?
Because they have been building this moment up for a while, talking about this warehouse situation where they were supposed to do the raid. And everybody is kind of like preparing their families. Oso is getting Ziamara and the kids together so that they can get away. And then Franklin is talking to V about, what happens, contingency plans. Like, if I don't make it, you and my mom got to get up out of here. So it was like, I think that built up the intensity of the whole episode. Like, oh, dang, somebody really might not make it.
Yeah, when Oso was saying goodbye to the kids, to me, it felt like the swan song. That's why I was sure I was I was like, Oso is not gonna make it because he's already basically saying goodbye to the children.
And when he gave up his wrestling masks to the kids, it was that was my indication that he might not survive.
Yeah. And it was kind of interesting that Louie came around. She said that she would help Franklin out with his plan to get Teddy, not because she wants to help him for real. It's because she wants to be free and clear of Teddy. And I wasn't sure if she was going to like double cross him or not, because she seemed like she was still on the fence about it.
I still don't trust Louie. I still don't trust Louie. She got her thing off. She whooped Franklin's butt and got all that out. But I kind of feel like, who's to say that once she gets Teddy out the way that she won't double back and take Franklin out? I don't trust her. That might be the game plan.
You know what? I think what you said a minute ago, that she got her rocks off beating up Franklin's face. And I think that's what she needed to do. She really needed to get at him in one way. And I mean, she was throwing some pretty good hooks. I mean, a couple of them I was thinking, dang on, Franklin, you should have been out by now. But he took a punch and she was throwing some hooks. So maybe, hopefully that's what it took to kind of, get her mind right and kind of hopefully work with Franklin. I guess it won't happen, but I felt a little better about it once she whipped his behind a little bit.
But, she had to get it out, get it out her system, a little bit.
Yeah.
It's 2 episodes left.
Right.
I'm not going to discount you because every time I do, I seem to lose. So I'm not going to discount it. I'm just saying, hopefully that was enough for her. Because she hates she hates Teddy more than she hates Franklin. Obviously.
Well, she don't want to look over her shoulder with Teddy. That's the thing. Right. And it's the same reason that Gustavo wants Teddy gone. Because, he's, as long as you have somebody like Teddy around, he's always a threat. You're always going to have to look over your shoulder. So I think that is the, the main reason why both Louis and Oso want him gone.
Absolutely. And they were all really relying on one another to come through in this situation. Yeah. And, like with people that are in this lifestyle, that's not always the easiest thing to rely on somebody else for your well-being, So when Oso, he has this other situation going on with Tony, and Tony doesn't trust him either. So he kind of pairs him with this chick, Amanda, who, he sends to Colombia with Oso. And I think Oso was trying to play it cool by making the jokes or whatever, but that chick, she was not feeling it, and she ratted him out. So
she said something is off.
Yeah, well, she's off. Rest in peace. I mean, sad to see you go, but I thought it was. I knew it was a joke. Well, it was a truth in jest, as we call it. And I thought that was the right thing to say, because had you said anything else, I don't know the guy's name, but he was up in Oso's face like he was just waiting for him to, slip up and say something wrong. So to say, yeah, she's a DEA agent, that kind of breaks the ice, in a sense, because that's probably what you were thinking. And for him to just come out and say it, it's like, okay, this has to be a joke, right? Because he wouldn't do that to us. So I thought it was pretty decent. I thought her being green, promulgated her to go back and say, he's off the chain. He's not doing what he's supposed to do. So I don't know.
But, it was a scary moment though.
Yes.
Because, her going back and snitching on Oso, of course, Tony being the kind of guy that he is, he arrests him, ultimately once he sees that Gustavo is acting a little strange, making phone calls and, getting the pages and stuff like that. And so that's when I was like, oh my God, okay, so Franklin is relying on Oso to be able to save his life from this Teddy situation. Like, it's all planned out. Louis is supposed to tie him up and drop him off, and Oso is supposed to be the one to rescue. So if Oso gets snatched up, that's it for Franklin. And so that's where I started losing it. Like, my nerves really got bad.
Me too. My nerves was so shot. I was like, this plan is problematic. And I was live tweeting, and everybody was sweating on Twitter. The Black Twitter, all of us was like, listen, this who? Franklin, this is not a good plan. They were like, Franklin.
Oh, it wasn't a good plan. I'm thinking, dang, I mean, Franklin he got dropped off in the afternoon or early evening, and it's late. I'm like, he couldn't even go to the bathroom.
Teddy changed the plan. That's the thing.
I know. I'm just saying, poor boy had to sit out there and supposed to go to the bathroom or something. I mean, you just sitting out there.
It was risky. He only had one shot.
Yeah.
Well, and Teddy messed that up because he could have killed him right then and there.
He should have. That's what I said. He was trying to be all diabolical with the hot shot. He should have shot him. If he had shot him, it would have just been a wrap.
Yeah. But I think Teddy wants revenge, and he wants to really make it, painful, not necessarily physically painful, because he was going to put him to sleep, at least. But I think he just wants to kind of like drag it out and make Franklin really understand, what you've done to me, what you've done to my family. They got to be all extra and dramatic with the killing scenes.
Well, he had a lot of nerve because what he did to Franklin's family. Like, he killed his father. He took his money. So all this stuff, it came to that. And on top of that, he took Franklin's money, and the CIA was getting ready to dispose of Teddy. And
they were.
Teddy was aware of that. Because he said to Parissa, listen, I no longer have a future in the CIA. Because they were like, yeah, just wire us the money. And it was clear from the conversation that, the CIA had last week. That like, oh yeah, he's a patriot, but this is getting messy. They were going to take Teddy's money, Franklin's money, rather, and they were going to dispose of Teddy.
Well, let me ask y'all, I kind of had the feeling that if Franklin ever got in that situation, that he would go out like a G. But
you sound like what my son said.
He was kind of begging for his life. I mean, help me out. Did anybody
My
else
son
feel
said
that
the same
way?
thing.
Okay.
He was like, Franklin sound like a punk. And I said, but I thought that Franklin, I mean, it was getting down to the wire, but I thought Franklin was stalling.
He was a little bit, yeah.
I thought he was stalling. You know, that was my plea. I'm trying to give Franklin some.
No, you know what? You know what? I think I'm gonna take that because I'd rather look at it that way than to think that my boy wasn't a G, because
that's what my son said. He was like, Franklin was going out like a punk. Yeah. And I was like, I said, I really think that he was trying to stall and everything, because he saw Teddy over there doing his thing, mixing stuff up, this and the other. And I think he was trying to stall and give also anybody time to bust up in that warehouse.
Exactly.
I would have, if it were me, I would have kind of given up on the fact that somebody's going to rescue me, because he had been outside for a while. And then to be inside, and then when he said, "I'm sorry about your pops," I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. You really want to bring that up at this particular point in time?
He was just trying to have some kind of conversation to drag it out.
I think he was stalling. I think he just was trying to keep him engaged, long enough for whoever.
And when you're in the situation and you see what he has going, okay, so Franklin was already tied up. That wasn't good enough for Teddy. He had to string him up on the noose,
right?
Which, okay, what the heck was that?
But yeah, it was very problematic online. If people were going off, they were like, "Oh no, not the news!" Last week the hard ER, and this week we got the news. And somebody sent a meme and said apparently the American flag was in the back too.
Did I see that?
I was like, "Oh wow!"
Yeah, the little racial undertones in here. It's kind of like no, Frank, Teddy, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm putting Teddy on the hands list for that.
He deserved a hand.
But he also was going to really make it kind of like a slow death. He was going to put him to sleep. He had the needle ready, and you seen the big bin he was preparing to dissolve the body afterwards. Yeah. And so I think Franklin seen that. He's like, "Oh, nah, this is getting real."
Yeah, it's getting real. And that needle was like right there at his knee, at his ankle. Man. You couldn't have gotten any more fearful of that. And I'm thinking to myself, is this Franklin's going out on episode 8? This can't be.
That's what I said. Right. That's what I said. I was like, he's not gonna. We got 2 more episodes. I said something's gonna happen. I didn't know if it was gonna be Louis and Scully. But when we saw Reuben, and
Reuben gets the game ball.
He get the game ball today.
Yes. I was like, thank God, Reuben.
I'm thinking, who's behind them? And anybody could pull that. That's a maneuver that policemen use to hit the back end of the vehicle and have it, either flip or go in an opposite direction or whatever. But when I saw him do that, I said, okay, somebody knows what they're doing. And so when I saw it was, when I saw it was Reuben, I'm thinking, wait a minute.
Oh, but he had been watching also all day.
Yeah, he had been. Right.
Yep. Yeah, so he was watching him all day. He was his only mission was to get to Teddy and stuff. Yeah. Because this is not over, because Franklin still got to worry. He got to worry, because if you see the previews, they're talking about, they have pictures of Franklin and they have him on tape. And I was just like, if Franklin doesn't die at the end, Franklin is going to jail.
But the problem is, because here we got Teddy still alive from the next episode. But my biggest concern, had someone killed Teddy, Franklin could almost forget the $73 million. And so what does he do? Well, I said almost.
He's going to torture Teddy next week.
You think Teddy can't take torture?
I'm sure, but I think they're gonna find a way to try to. Who knows?
I think the only way you can get to Teddy is to get to some family member, like
I said Julia.
Yep.
Right, exactly.
And you know what? You go pick Julia and his son up.
Yeah,
maybe even Parissa, now that he's proposed to her.
Oh, that's true. That's probably the best thing to do. Get Parissa and torture her, and you'll get your money.
to get your money, because he was going anyway. I told you, CIA was getting ready to take the money and get rid of Teddy.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and for real, if they approach Julia, I think she would willingly give up any information that she knows if it means protecting her children and herself.
I think she would, because she already told Teddy to get her money back.
That's right.
Yep. Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting to see how this goes, because the look on Teddy's face when he realized Gustavo crossed him, priceless.
It was.
Priceless.
It was. Trying to get out of those handcuffs. Son, you're not going anywhere. You can forget it.
The look on Franklin's face when he realized he was free and Teddy was not. The smirk on his face. I was like, uh-oh, next episode is going to be crazy.
Right. Wow. Now, what do you think they do with Reuben, though? Do they let him live? Are they still working together? Or are they going to dispose of him, too?
I don't think Reuben is as big an issue because he's KGB. He could go home. Let me put it this way. I don't know what his total end game was to be there in the first place, except to wheel and deal. But
his end game was to arrest Teddy.
Right.
So that was Reuben's end game.
Reuben, I'm saying Reuben arresting Teddy, take him back to KGB?
Yeah, the KGB was after them. They wanted to prove that Teddy was trying to
smuggle the drugs.
Right.
Drugs and stuff. So Teddy is there, he's locked up stuff. I don't know if Franklin and them strike a deal, with him, like, because where is Teddy going unless Teddy is able to get free,
In my opinion, it looked like with me, Reuben wanted him dead because, after all, Teddy did threaten his life, and and then too, he found out some very, personal information about Reuben that I'm sure Reuben doesn't want to. If I were Reuben, I wouldn't take him back because KGBs, they don't like bisexual, folks like that. Russian, they don't play that. So I wouldn't take chances of taking him back. You never know what kind of deal he might make in terms of using that information against you. I thought Reuben was going to put a bullet in his chest, in the next episode.
If they kill Teddy, they don't really get much out of it except for revenge or vengeance or whatever, Yeah. If they keep him alive and they kind of expose him, then he'll be, out on Front Street. Everybody will know how he kind of put drugs into the U.S. as, one of a government agent.
And the Black community.
Exactly. In the Black government. And they will also basically kind of I think they get more out of it if they keep him alive and expose him. And he would like to go to jail.
Well, you know what? But the government will make him a rogue agent. It'll never really, the government will clean that up.
But for Teddy, that's kind of just as bad as dying. He's a super patriot. So
yeah,
he's already dead. Look,
well, the thing is,
but
this is based on the
right,
true story, like during the regular administration, and we know that to be true, that they really did.
We know it to be true.
That's what
we know it to be true, but the government never suffered from it, and even still, they made it look like it was some something that the government didn't have any real responsibility
right
for. So as far as Teddy is concerned, in my opinion, he's already dead. So look, either the KGB, Reuben, Franklin, or the government themselves. He's got 4 death marks on him. So it doesn't. I don't see an avenue for Teddy to turn. There's nothing he can do. In fact, if Teddy was smart, I say, okay, look, okay, we're good. Let me just give you back your money. Let me go somewhere.
I would never let him go because Teddy was supposed to let Franklin's dad go. That was a plan, that he and Sissy go to Cuba and let it go. And Teddy did not let it go. He followed him to Cuba and he took him out.
Right.
Even never trust him.
Yeah, you can't trust him. You can't trust him. You can't ever let him go. So he needs to either be dead or under the jail.
Well, dead is more preferable.
I would like to see him go.
Look, he's one person that has earned their death, as
he really has bought his death. He really has.
But at the same time, he is still affiliated with government. And we see already how they view the Black community. So to see that one of their own has died at the hands of, somebody in the Black community, they will really probably try to make a huge example out of that person.
Out of Franklin. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Franklin will be under the jail for selling drugs and stuff. He's going to be the lead in the story, not this person who brought it.
And that's why I think he's going to play it smart and maybe not kill Teddy. He's going to get his money back, and he's going to try to expose who Teddy is and what he actually did.
And I think that's the better plan.
His father already did. His father did and stuff, but he can provide further confirmation, especially since in the previews, I think it was KGB or whoever that was talking about, we have Franklin on tape, we got pictures, this, that, and the other. So it's just only a matter of seeing whether he will be impacted by this. Because if they follow what happened to who we think they're talking about, he went to jail. He's out now, but he went to jail.
I think Louis, that's her get back. I think once Teddy is out of the picture, she's going to take Franklin down by contacting the DEA and giving all the information on Franklin as she has.
She don't even have to do that because they already have it. Because when Franklin made that deal, when Sissy introduced him to Reuben and all that, he gave interviews.
Right.
He told the whole thing. So they already have it.
So what's the reason for them not picking him up at this point? I mean, why haven't they picked him up?
Listen, I think Reuben was going to double cross all of them anyway. Yeah. Like the end goal was Teddy, but when he came in there, had also not rushed him, I think he would have rounded all of them up. Yep. Everybody could get it. Also, Franklin, Teddy, they would have all been in the bang, and he would have gone to KGB like, "Look what I did! I got them all." And Franklin, I mean, he did. He gave up everything on the tape.
But I think Oso would have killed Reuben.
Oh, he would have.
Yeah, I mean, outside. Yeah,
right.
I mean, because Oso, he, I mean, when somebody breaks in. And when somebody breaks into your home and threatens your life and your family like that,
right.
He's got to go. And so,
but I was gonna say, Oso's still not in the clear though, because Tony is still alive. So what does he do about that situation?
And
now Tony's gonna be even more pissed because he was like, I like hiring female agents and they're more sharp or blah blah blah. So now another one of his female agents has been killed.
Is gone. At Oso's hand because of Oso.
Exactly. So I feel
Tony
like he's
survived the car accident. Tony did.
I think he did because they got hit and they looked like they were kind of out of it.
Yeah.
But I think they're still alive.
Yeah. And see, Reuben should have put a bullet in all of them. And but then I guess the fact that Oso wasn't in the car, everybody's going to suspect that was something that he had planned. So it's unfortunate, but I don't know.
The funny thing, when they busted in there, and Reuben and what's it called, and Franklin was hanging, he was like, "Hey, y'all see me?
Right.
Yeah." But I was screaming because I was like, "Shoot!" I'm telling you, I was right on my nerves was shook. So I was like, "Franklin, hurry up."
I know he wanted that fight to be over quick because I mean, just that when they hit the can, had they hit that can earlier,
oh my God,
he might have been out.
He'd have been out.
Yeah.
He's sitting there looking around and trying to figure out what's going on.
That was funny. He was like, "Y'all see me? Y'all see me."
Yeah. So I mean, this episode was definitely intense, and it definitely is the build up for the last two episodes. One other thing I noticed that happened right at the beginning of this episode, Scully was kind of consoling Leon and kind of forgave him for what he did to his daughter or whatnot. So
I was going to talk about that too.
This makes me feel like Leon might be kicking the bucket soon, because it's always when the characters get their reconciliation, they make peace and stuff, that they out of here.
But that told me a lot about Scully, though. I mean, This
Scully
man
has come a long way.
Oh my God! When you talk about change, this man has done a complete 180 on the change factor, and to forgive Leon in that regard was just deep. That was deep.
That was his spirituality, because he had become a different person. And kudos to the SnowFall team for the character development of Scully, because we were introduced to him in season 3, and he crazy.
Yeah, we thought he would be out.
But a demon. But look at him.
Yeah.
So before we go, what about V watching Franklin get beat down like that?
She definitely went. She did not want to look at it.
She went and got in the car. And then when they showed her face, it looked like she was crying.
I'm concerned about that. I wonder.
Did you see her? I hope she didn't lose that baby, because you see she started having cramps.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! I was like, please don't tell me she miscarried, because that's a lot of stress.
That's a lot of stress.
Yeah.
So I'm beginning to wonder: is she really going to hang around? Can she really wait for Franklin to finish this?
No, I hope she did. I hope
they so close to the end though. It's like just hanging a little bit longer. Y'all might be straight.
But if she lost that baby, I can
that'd
see
be
her.
another loss.
That's life changing.
And she'll blame Franklin for it, because
I mean, it is what it is. I think Franklin has done all he can up to this point to try to get, them out of the game and set them up for a good life for the most part. So it's only so much blame she can put. Like, he is putting an effort to try to get out.
Well, yeah, I mean, she wanted him out, and he stayed in, and you still stayed with him. So he
only was back in because Teddy took his money, because he had walked away.
He would have been done.
He would have been done. They would have been off living their best life had Teddy not taken his money.
Exactly.
And then it brings me to another point with Franklin. Had he liquidated all of his real estate, and back in the 70s, a few $100,000 and 500, $1 million. I don't know how much he would have had in liquidation, but had he liqudated his real estate, he could have lived a pretty comfortable life.
That's chump change compared to that.
It is. I know it is.
Last season they said he ended up being in debt. Like, remember, they went over that.
He also told V, if something were to happen to him, to do that.
But it ain't that.
No, it's chump change. You're right. It is chump change.
Remember, he just asked Leon for $500,000.
Well, he hasn't liquidated anything. I'm just asking the kind of financial.
No. I mean, it's some money. He does still have some real estate.
And so when you go back to the 70s, $100,000 was a lot of money.
80s.
So not 73 million. You're right, Tiara. I mean, it's chump change, but you could live on it. Certainly. And I think that's what V's point was.
His debts.
Yeah, that you blow through that money fast when you're accustomed to a certain way of life too.
That's true. That's true.
So I don't know. I am looking forward to seeing what these last 2 episodes have in store. I'm pretty sure if we were on edge this episode, we're gonna be biting our nails these next 2.
I'm gonna tie my hands behind.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be sitting on my hands for sure. You know what? A thing that crossed my mind was, remember when Franklin was at the repast and he looked over at the house and he saw the memory of Mel. And I was like, is this foreshadowing? I said, because we're sitting here thinking about Franklin's fate, and we're wondering if it's going to be Teddy, if it's going to be Louie or whatever. And I was like, is Mel going to come out the cut and kill Franklin?
Or get back, expose him?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Just finish the job.
That was one of my early predictions at the beginning of the season. Like, will Mel pop back up?
We might
what happened to Peaches? We still don't know what Peaches is. So
yeah, I thought that too. When I saw that, I was like, he thinking about Mel. Is this foreshadowing?
I thought she was killed.
She moved to another state.
Remember at the end of season 4?
Which one of the girlfriends? Yeah,
Mel.
The Mel.
The one
that was on drugs.
She was on drugs.
Right.
Remember in season 4,
I'm thinking about the father that was a police officer.
Yeah, that's Mel's father.
That's Mel.
Yeah, I thought
that's Mel, but she went down south and she got cleaned up. And at the end, remember at the end of season 4, he went because she was the one that was talking to the reporter.
Right.
Yep.
And Franklin went
and confronted her.
Pretty much, he confronted her and he threatened her too.
Right. Yeah, he
just I'm warning you, and like next time, you know, and stuff. So she and then he hung up the cane to let her know that and started walking upright the way he walked out. Right. So she's still out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That was the
end of season 4. So I'm wondering that, you know, we thinking over here, Teddy, and Lou, and all these other threats, but could she be the one? Be like, you know what?
I don't see. If she was smart, she'd stay wherever the hell she is. I don't see her getting back in that mess. I mean,
she should. She should. Yeah, but you know, but she might be like, he gets away with everything. You know, like if say if it ends up in a situation where the government comes after him and he's able to escape, or even he goes to jail, he comes out or whatever, and she thinks like, oh, he always, you know, like Ghost, he always wins. Remember Tasha said that he always wins, and somebody has to stop him. So and she might be feeling like somebody has to stop him, and you know,
it can happen. I'm not ruling it out. I think
it can happen. Somebody that he least suspects.
Yeah, so I think we got a lot to look forward to. I really enjoyed our discussion tonight. You guys have anything else you want to add? I think we already knocked out the game ball and the who can get the hands. Y'all got anything else?
Do you give Scully a game ball for
redemption?
Yeah, I'll give him an honorable mention.
Yeah,
get the MVP maybe.
Yep.
Or most improved player.
Okay. I like that. I think we got to add that one. Yeah, we have to add that one to the list.
I like that too. Most improved player.
Yeah, we got to add that one.
Yeah. So this was good. To all of the viewers out there, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you drop down in the comment section and give us your thoughts about this episode, as well as predictions for the remainder of the season. We also would ask you to subscribe to our channel, like the video, and click that notification bell so you get alerted whenever we post. That notification bell is important because, you know, we do occasionally have guests from the actual series that we recap on. So, you know, you never want to miss out on anything. And I think we have something good coming soon if you watch Power Book 2 Ghost. So look out for that. We also have the interview tab where you can go through that playlist and look at all of the past interviews that we've done with talent from various shows. Also, make sure you follow us on social media. We are at The Spot Real Talk on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. Check us out there and keep up with all that we have going on. On that note, if you guys don't have anything else, then I think we will call it a night. So thanks so much for watching, and make sure you are back here next week for our recap of episode 9. Good night.
Good night.
I don't want just anybody. Can you treat me like somebody? I don't want just anybody. I don't want just anybody.